line, screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. World's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth it's harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
Hello and good evening to you, dear friends. May the 4th be with you, everybody. How we all doing tonight? Hope we got some old school Star Wars fans. Original trilogy is the best in the house tonight. And, just trying to have a little fun with the titles and everything. But as always, guys, we got a lot going on. Trump is showing us the way to win against the evil empire, the globalists, the cabal, the city of Londonites, the crazy system that has betrayed us and taken our country in the wrong direction for so many years, but he's beaten it back. And tonight we're going to get deeper into it as we do every night. We're going through the latest in MAGA world. The MAGAlorian strikes again. In Iran, we have Iran getting desperate and freaking out over Trump's latest Project Freedom, striking the UAE and turning the Middle East against them yet again, while also giving Trump the framework to get back in. We're going to go through that. We're going to go through major news towards the midterms, where Fetterman might be right on the brink of going Republican, which would all but seal the Senate for the Republicans completely, and then they can focus on maintaining the House. We have lots of updates in Department of Justice land and some new characters in Fagaville, fake MAGA for the Grifter report later. So a big show tonight. Glad you guys could join us. And welcome. So before we get started, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Seeing some of your guys' comments are already making me laugh. Oh man, I love this chat. I love these peeps. I'm gonna miss you, night owls. I really am. When we move to the daytime, but hopefully most of you can follow me over to the daylight, as I'm getting out of my cave. But anyways, let me do some shout outs to the Chizat, and then we'll get moving here in just a second. US1 Tahoe, what's going on? Kim Wiley, good to see you. Armand Elefante, Cass Sink, Jeremy James, Ellen Hunt, Job for 9, Lucid, it's good to see you, Lucid. It's been a bit. Diana, Ellen Hunt, Wago Waco, Yuck Futu, Kev the Tech, what's going on? Nick Majors, Jay Tyrus, Sandals, Arizona, Ray Sandoval, Seth Linnerode, Fernando Leonardo, Alice Fordham, Girth Mike, Pat M in the house, Hero at Large, what's up, man? Just Mike, how you doing, brother? How you feeling, man? I know you had some, didn't you have some medical stuff going on? I haven't seen you in a while, but I hope you're doing well. Feisty Grandma's in the house. Gen X MAGA, James Lee, Dan the Man Green, and MK Alkenthaler. That one's always tough for me. On Rumble, we got Nunya Business, Alice Wood, Watashi SC, Lochtfeld, Nels, holding it down over there on Rumble, the smaller but definitely not lesser chat. And on X over there, guys, I cannot see your chats, but I do see there are some people watching. So love you out there as well. Hit that repost if you're watching on X. All right, guys, we're going to have to get through this, but first I got to address something. Vince Felice says the Bears will win the Super Bowl. Now that's the funniest thing I've seen in a while. So thank you. Thank you for the laugh. You got me. You got me laughing there, my friend. It's so good. It cracked me up, man. Funny guy says, my name is Luke. I've heard jokes all day and I have so many followers I never knew about. Well, that's one way to find out, right? One way to find out if, mom was having a little too much fun before you came along. Oh, hopefully that's not the way. Charlie Sheen thought he was winning, but Trump is really winning. Winning. Yeah, Trump's doing it much better. And he's doing it on social media. I mean, the White House is just bringing it today. In a galaxy that demands strength, America stands ready. This is the way. So good. So good. I totally had to steal this a little bit and import it into my thumbnail because just fantastic. Just fantastic stuff. Trump's the absolute best. As always, he's showing us this is the way. And speaking of the way, let's get started. So before we get right into it, I'm going to start with Iran today because the news out of Iran is very important and imminent. So we're going to hit there. And honestly, that's where the frontline battle against City of London is being fought. So we'll cover Iran here in a sec. But before I get to it, guys, in the chat, if you are new, please feel free, become part of this great community, get in the chat it up, but no trolls. We don't do trolls here. So you will get banned if you are trolling, and otherwise have fun, be respectful and honorable, and join in. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, guys, and let's get into it. I will be stopping in between all the segments to say, hey, try to catch anybody that's tagged me on anything, and also address any questions I can find. But if you really want to get my attention, if the chat blows up, last night we had over 1,000 people on at once, up to 1,300 at one point. That's a lot of chatting. So the one way to guarantee I'll see it is a super chat. I'm not asking for your money, just telling you the truth. That's the only way I can guarantee I see it, because I can actually sort by those. Otherwise, I will do my best, because on this show the chat is the community is a big part of this show. Just Mike, I am going to call you out, bud, because I asked you a question. He says here every night you might fall asleep before the end. Had 2 heart procedures last week, kicking his ass a little bit. Brother, we are praying for you, and hope you're recovering well. God bless you, man. You're one of the good ones. You've been here a long time, and I'm just glad you're okay right now and recovering. So Good job. Yeah, become a Patreon member, of course. Get in that Discord if you really like the chat. It's a great place to be. All right. Looks like memberships are being handed out on Rumble. So that's awesome. That'll get you guys into the members' lives. I am going to have to work on my Rumble membership, build it out. I will start doing that next week. Okay. I keep getting distracted here. I need to move over. The last few lives you weren't able to repost on X? Oh, that's weird. I don't know. I got to say, I love X. It's the best news site on the planet, best networking site now on the planet. But I will say that their live streaming kind of sucks when it's integrated with other systems. And so, hopefully they figure that out. Okay. All right. We got to get moving. We got to get into it. It's late already. All right. Iran today, out of nowhere, they bit. Trump announced Project Freedom yesterday. It just started today, where they were going to start escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz, effectively rendering Iran's one bit of leverage feckless and useless. And Iran took the bait. And by taking the bait, I mean they lashed out because this is all they have. And by doing so, I believe they just showed us that they are absolutely unable to handle this. This is the one thing they can't let slide, because otherwise they have nothing left. No leverage whatsoever. So Trump hit them in the pain point, and it broke them today. So Iran reportedly attacked the Fujairah oil terminal in United Arab Emirates, as well as shooting at a couple ships. This is the endpoint of ADCOP pipeline, UAE's only Hormuz bypass. 1.5 million barrels per day of crude capacity, expandable to 1.8 million. This pipeline was built specifically so UAE could export oil without transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's not just hitting a coalition partner, they're targeting the infrastructure that lets oil flow without Hormuz. In other words, they are freaking out that people are figuring out other ways to get around this. They can't let this happen. This is all Iran has left. It's their only card, and we're finding out that they don't even really hold the card, and so they're panicking. This is playing right into Trump's hands, because if they break this ceasefire fully, which Trump's been playing a little nice so far, we're going to get into that in a second, they break this, they go full out. Now, all of a sudden, Trump can just declare that they broke a ceasefire. Now it's defensive, and he's got a whole new set and timeline of war powers to use against them. The only other major Hormuz bypass, Saudi Arabia's east-west pipeline to Yanbu, attacked in April. If they can't export through Hormuz, nobody bypasses it either. Well, good luck with that. Iran is taking, this is from Trump himself, taking some shots at unrelated nations with respect to the ship movement. They shot at South Korean ships today. It's Project Freedom, including a South Korean cargo ship. Perhaps it's time for South Korea to come and join the mission. We've shot down 7 small boats, or as we like to call them, fast boats. It's all they have left. Other than the South Korean ship, there's been at this moment no damage going through the strait. Secretary of War Hegseth and Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff Kane will have news conference tomorrow morning. Apparently we got 2 American ships through today, which is a big deal. It's the first time we've seen that happen since the war started. So this is working, and within one day they're already panicking and acting out like this. This tells you that Trump is the one fully in control here. I don't see how there's any other way to look at this. Trump has played this again perfectly. Just like we said last night, the setup was here, and it didn't take them a day. It didn't take them a day to start falling into it. Already, MBS has called UAE, condemning Iran's attack and reaffirming Saudi's support for the country's security. So the Middle East continues to galvanize with the U.S. against Iran. And, think about it this way. Iran, let's go back. Let's go back a decade even, okay, right before Trump 1.0 and the Abraham Accords. We had this Middle East where Saudi Arabia was basically, we weren't exporting our oil. We weren't drilling our oil to our full capacity thanks to Obama and the climate scammers. the Democrats being in power, the Uniparty being in power. So that was on purpose. And so we allowed OPEC, especially Saudi Arabia, to hold us hostage over oil prices constantly. And all the Middle East was constantly willing to be against one another. They just were. Other than the OPEC cartel, it was against Israel. It was, they allowed terrorist cells to operate here and there. It was craziness. And now, 10 years later, after my entire life, just like the Middle East was an absolute disaster, a mess, and we were beholden to them. They could hold leverage over us with oil, all that my entire life. And now we have basically the entire Middle East, except for Iran, on our side with deals made with us, at peace with Israel. And now they're all ganging up against one of theirs, the number one state sponsor of terror as well. The power dynamics, the way that geopolitics has shifted in the last 10 years is nothing short of miraculous. And it's crazy to me that people don't think about this when they're all saying like what Trump has not done. People get mad at Trump for not doing enough. When meanwhile, he's completely reshaped the planet in one of the most volatile, dangerous, and problematic regions in the earth has just been completely changed. It's wild. And it's one of the great accomplishments we'll see. So as for today, though, here's Jesse Water with a nice little breakdown.
Unblocking the strait while we maintain the blockade, that's going to really bring their negotiating team to its knees. It also unlocks all of this pent-up cargo and energy out of there. And we did it without boots on the ground. And we did it without any Asian or European allies, so you're welcome. We basically sailed multiple guided missile destroyers straight through the gap. We demined this little safe passage along the coast of Oman. And this is not like a one-to-one escort situation. We've created an entire defensive umbrella around the Gulf with anti-missile defense systems, helicopters, fighter jets, drones with about 15,000 service members. And we've already got 2 U.S. flagged vessels out of there safely. This is a defensive operation. We don't fire until fired upon. They fired first. They broke the ceasefire, and it didn't go very well for them. 6 of their fast boats from the Mosquito fleet wasted by a pack.
Okay, so real quick before we finish, we took out 6 or 7 of their boats, so the ceasefire is effectively over. However, Trump's still honoring it in word, seeing if it'll escalate, if they'll escalate it. But did you hear everything Jesse just said other than that, though? Everything we have accomplished without any help, with 15,000 of our service members over there, no boots on the ground. It's a miraculous operation, and I continue to say this will go down as one of the greatest military operations in history when it's done. But anyways, just incredible stuff.
Apaches and Seacraft helicopters, and then also a bunch of missiles and drones they shot out, all of them intercepted. They threw some missiles over at our buddies at the UAE. Almost all of them intercepted. There's a small fire at an export terminal.
So it's Timu
I think
missiles,
it's going to be okay.
China.
But if Iran continues to escalate, we can climb the escalation ladder. We can do it all day. It's not going to end well for them. Right now, Operation or Project Freedom looks really savvy, sophisticated, and the oil markets are going to love it. This corners their negotiating team, and it will really put the president in a great position when he goes to Beijing in about 10 days.
Yep. 100%. He nails it. The negotiating tactics are just brilliant here. The strategies Trump has implemented. And again, there's a lot of people who believe that this was all just Trump flying by the seat of his pants, flying off the cuff, making it up as he goes, finding out he's stuck, coming up. But I'm just telling you, there's absolutely no way that's true. The way the way it's all been built up, going all the way back to Venezuela, by getting Venezuela freed up in the easiest operation ever. I mean, in many ways, at least the shortest operation ever. getting that taken care of, releasing their oil, breaking grip of China, City of London, CIA, Deep State, all off of Venezuela, freeing that flow of oil now, which we're already seeing. We're already seeing it come up here. It's already starting to be processed. It's wild. They said it couldn't be done. They said it would take years. Nope, it's already happening. So you see that's established, going over to Iran, and now just the way Trump has methodically broken Iran. Like the first couple of days, just that military strikes, which were unbelievably successful. It just took out the big bad number three big bad in the world in just a couple of days, to the ceasefire, and now this maneuvering on the Strait of Hormuz. We're taking down one of the most embedded suicidal groups of crazy people we've ever seen. This has been a long time in the making, and what Trump's pulling off is just, everybody says impossible. But these people are so, like City of London right now is terrified. They're terrified. And that's why you're seeing Iran act so crazy, not making sense. And also we have the factions within. The president of Iran came out today and said he was furious that the IRGC launched these attacks. Well, the IRGC is really running Iran, but they have this whole other part of Iran that's trying to actually take over, get leadership in, because they know if this doesn't stop, the people are going to rise up. The economy is getting that bad. And Trump is now doubling down. And this makes me think, guys, we are about to see the unleashing of our war machine again. And it's going to be quick, and it's going to be effective, and it's going to be devastating. But Trump today says Monday, Iran will be blown off the face of the earth if it attempts to fire on American ships within the Strait of Hormuz. So they had a 20-minute conversation with Fox News today. I don't know if you guys know this, but Trump actually gives his private number out to reporters so they can call him. And sometimes he just grants interviews off the cuff as a result. So the Fox News reporter got him today and got him to say we'll blow him off the face of the earth. It's this close. Okay. We're this close to seeing February 28th, March 1st happen all over again. Part 2. This time with more aircraft carriers there, more weapons. They're much weaker. And he'll have the cover that they are the ones who provoked by breaking the ceasefire this time. It's masterful, because you see, in our day and age, since we don't have a king, since we don't have Caesar, our president has to play politics while also waging war. This has been, the founding fathers, they created the executive branch. They wanted a king. Well, I'm sorry, not a king. King light. Okay, Lite. They recognize that in times of war and foreign policy, you needed a strong man to do the work, because they had to be able to react quicker. A Congress would be too slow and ineffective, and that's how you'd lose wars. That's one of the sole reasons for the kingship, aka president, we've put into our system. And he's not a full king, but the point is that the founding fathers knew that there were actually benefits to multiple kinds of governments. They knew there was benefits to monarchy. They knew there was benefits to oligarchy, but there was also downfalls to those. So they knew that democracy was important, but not full democracy, because full democracy is insanity. It's ruled by the mob. And then republic was what they came to as the best overall system. So they put all these parts of different governments under the banner of the law, which made it a republic. So we're a constitutional democratic republic with aspects of regular democracy, which is the House of Representatives supposed to be, oligarchy, which is the Senate, and monarchy, which is our president. But because of that, even if he's allowed to strike quickly, defend us, when war comes, he has to play politics. So what Trump did here was so genius by implementing this ceasefire with a crazy nation that he knew would never fully hold unless they completely collapsed, unless the people took him over. So it's win-win from the moment. I mean, honestly, from the moment we struck them, we were winning. There's just no doubt about it by the way we absolutely demolished them. But see, a weaker, stupider president would have screwed it up. A feckless person, more beholden and cared more about their poll numbers or cared more about what the Senate was saying, they would have failed. But Trump played this genius by using the war powers assigned to him, taking him up to the edge, calling the ceasefire, and then basically saying, let's play, let's play what's it called? Let's play chicken. Who's going to blink first? And obviously now Iran is, and that just is totally unleashing us for a whole nother round to finish this. I think Trump wants a deal because he doesn't want death and war. Trump's proven to us that over his whole time as president. He doesn't like to go there, but he's willing to. And so he gave them as many chances as he possibly could. But guys, it's coming down to it. So, and again, when you realize, as I've reported, as Promethean Action does a great job on it, Tom Luongo and others, Brian Cates on X, the whole City of London cabal, Iran is their key. And one of the reasons Iran is putting their foot down, the IRGC is acting like this, is because City of London just can't lose this. They can't. Once they do, it all starts unraveling for them very quickly. Speaking of Tom Luongo, he had this great post today. IRGC's attack on UAE today was both predictable and sad. Predictable because pipeline at Fujairah was a direct threat to their global oil and gas blackmail. Sad because, again, IRGC chose death in the wake of Trump formally and legally in the U.S. ending Operation Epic Fury to ensure that a sympathetic or traitorous Congress couldn't come to their rescue by restraining Trump. They could have effectively negotiated a surrender of a war they've lost and a gambit they've been outplayed in, but they didn't, and now the Iranian people will suffer. They've done this all to serve the designs of those in Europe, and yes, London, to keep this conflict going in the vain hope of drawing Trump into a war he's not going to fight. Their leverage is gone. U.S. Navy's escorting ships through the strait. The only ones not going through are obvious co-conspirators, mostly Indian, trying to keep this thing in the headlines, a global threat to prices up. That's one of the main things they're about to lose, is their ability to manipulate the oil prices, which is why Trump keeps saying once this is over, oil prices will dump. And I'm telling you guys, oil prices after the Iran war, after this is finished and all the straits are opened up, all the passageways across the world, and we're still pumping oil like crazy, and now Venezuela's unleashed as well. They no longer have control over the shipping. They can't. OPEC is being broken up, the cartel with UAE leaving. All this is going to lead to free market energy, which we just have simply never lived under. We've just never lived under that on a world scale. And that's going to cause gas prices to tank. Oil prices are going to tank. And I would not be surprised if we see $40 a barrel by the end of the year. Now, they've given him the legal justification he needs to do that, which he pre-positioned a whole lot of military power to do. They have no one but themselves to blame. All of this while there was a direct attack on the UAE currency, the U.S. 30-year bond market, which has just been happening, which is playground of the Bank of England. It's the financial wars, which are always the main wars, right? Took place during a British banking holiday when gilt markets were closed. Absolutely. Now, this is a great post. I was shared with me today as well that I want to go through just to give more insight. Karl von Clausewitz wrote that war is continuation of politics by other means. Trump grasps this from the start. Operation Epic Fury exists to stop Iran's nuclear march, restore deterrence, not to pursue familiar neocon fantasy of occupation and nation building. By weaponizing Strait of Hormuz, Iran committed a strategic blunder of historic proportions. Tehran meant to punish America. Instead, it exposed every power built on imported energy, vulnerable sea lanes, and delusion that globalization repealed geography. China's exposed. Europe's exposed. Britain's exposed. Guys, this is exactly what we've been saying, and I'm so happy so many people are waking up to it. It makes me so happy. We're finally seeing our real enemies for who they are. We're finally, like, even when I started understanding the deep state several years ago, a decade ago, I still didn't fully understand where it came from, the systems. It took years to understand this. And once you see it, once you see the city of London, once you see how bad Europe is to us, once you get past the fact that China is, yes, an enemy, but they're not the biggest, baddest enemy they've been built up to be. Once you see all this, it just opens your eyes. And this is exactly what Iran's doing. Iran is so many things, but it's also a great awakening project. It is. Everybody who's paying attention, who understands geopolitics, is seeing things that they didn't see before. It is amazing to behold. And I'm telling you, they are freaking out at how obvious it's all become. Them not engaging in the war, Europe at all, withholding NATO alliances, China not coming in to defend Iran and start World War III. I mean, it's exposure after exposure after exposure. And right here, every power built on imported energy, vulnerable sea lanes. I mean, that describes City of London, aka the British Empire, and China to a T, doesn't it? The delusion that globalization repealed geography. It's beautiful what Trump's doing. Start with China. Beijing's industrial machine depends on imported oil and gas moving through vulnerable maritime choke points. They were getting their oil from Iran was selling 90% of its exports to China for on the cheap wholesale prices. And that's gone now. A great power relying on long exposed sea lines cannot be secure regardless of economic scale. Europe and Britain face the same problem. After escaping Russian dependency, trade one vulnerability for another, leaning on imported natural gas and maritime flows exposed to coercion. When choke points tighten, they absorb shocks rather than project strength. European criticism says less about American failure than about discomfort with a world where hard power still matters. And they tried to hide that for years. It was all about this soft power, this globalist cabal world that was just a house of cards that's now collapsing. And the only way it stood up at all was because they were able to hide behind America's military might and the power of our financial system, the power of our economy, just supporting them, supplementing their lifestyles. Trump deserves credit. Operation Epic Fury struck thousands of targets to degrade Iran's offensive capabilities, shattered assumptions the West would absorb escalation without response. Administration acted while others lectured, restored deterrence in the only language Tehran understands. And he goes on, but here's the financial dimension, which is what Besant is the mastermind of. Demand for Federal Reserve swap lines during crisis proves King Dollar remains supreme. Trump just made us all these, as we were being weakened over the decades by the globalists, by the City of London system, by our own politicians selling us out to them, others were starting to rise up. We had the BRICS nations trying to counter us, trying to raise up their own power, which was, China, Brazil, Russia, was Iran too, I think. And they were trying to create a counter force. And what Trump did is just came in and said, no, not on my watch. We are still the greatest. We're still the most powerful. We have the best system. We have the best everything. And we're going to act like it. And what he's done is he's completely reestablished our dominance. And I'm telling you, even at this point, if terrible things happen and we got horrible people back in charge, what Trump has already accomplished is set us up for at least a couple decades. And I'm not saying if the Democrats got back in, there wouldn't be a lot of horrible things happening quickly, but they would have to accelerate in ways that still wouldn't get them the full control they want because the globalist system is being so destroyed. They're in they're having extreme issues as they're breaking down. Everything they built, he's destroying. And he's put America back on top, which means, guys, it's only a matter of time. And I don't think very long. I think from this point, 6 to 18 months before we start seeing extreme prosperity come back to our land. Because when you're on top like this and you're the number one exporter, everybody depends on you. That means all that is coming back. That middle class is going to be rebuilt. We're starting to see signs, but you just can't be in this position and not thrive. It's pretty much impossible. Because Trump's also going to make sure all that money out is not going in outflow anymore. It's going to stay here. When stress hits, governments run toward dollar liquidity, not away from it. Hard resource power, monetary power reinforce one another, and the United States sits at the center of both. And that's what it is. We have the military power, greatest in the world, and we have the financial power, greatest in the world. This is unbelievable. What he's pulled off. It's incredible stuff. And Cates, he's reporting on what's going to happen with energy. But he talks about they've been carefully reducing and rationing out energy to manipulate and control the markets. That's exactly how City of London has wrested its control and made trillions of dollars doing so. Everyone knows for over 100 years these heels have been doing this. It became such business as usual and nobody could really see it anymore. But they've never been challenged until now. But since announcing the end of all this, Trump and others around the world are ending the energy rationing market manipulation. This will have impacts all over the world in ways many people can't see it. How about the fact that if energy is cheaper, everybody thrives more? Everybody thrives more, including third world nations. Everybody benefits from this. Nobody loses except for the power brokers. That's it. Those who've tried to consolidate power are the only ones who lose when energy gets cheap. Everybody else thrives. Everybody else increases. Their countries start increasing. Their GDP goes up. Their standard of living goes up. Everything gets better when energy's cheaper. And Trump is about to unleash this. So it's not only our country that's going to prosper. Other countries are going to do much better because of this. And you can see, talking about the power brokers, UN officials have warned United Nations faces total financial collapse as a result of non-payment of dues by member states. Trump has started the revolt, and they're all ditching. It's beautiful. We face a real danger of running out of money. Well, the UN is the face of the City of London cabal. It's their outward-facing political face. Put on the nice faces. It's like, oh, we're the United Nations. But it's really just been their little Muppet show for the world to say, oh, look how nice they all are, when behind the scenes they're plotting to centralize power for all these people that they're the only ones who benefit, and it taking advantage of us over and over again. We've put up with these people for way too long, and now Trump is actually bankrupting them as a result of all this too. So if that doesn't tell you we're winning, if that doesn't tell you City of London is breaking, the deep state's breaking, I don't know what else to tell you guys. The genius of everything that's happening is incredible. And I really do believe that we're going to see the end of this. It might be fast and furious here. These strikes might pick up, or Iran might completely cave as their people rise up. We don't know how this is going to end, but it's clear at this point Iran's panicking. They're panicking because it was stupid what they did today. There's nothing for them to gain from striking UAE and striking these ships, breaking the ceasefire. There's nothing. They have nothing to gain from it. And so it proves once again that Trump has them cornered. And so as this breaks open and this ends, this is going to go down as one of the greatest wins an American president's ever had. And I love this show we're watching because it's amazing to watch this man in action. All right, guys, if you enjoyed that, learned anything, agree with it, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Let me get into the chat for a minute. Say hey to everybody before we go on to the next part where we're going to talk about the elections and Fetterman maybe completely changing or at least locking up the Senate for Republicans, which would be crazy. So we'll see what goes there. But first, I do want to say hey to you guys. Let's see. I do see a couple people tagged me. Let me make sure I don't miss that. Somebody get banned already? Trolls, man. I don't know why they even try. We like to keep our chat nice and cozy for everybody in here. CA Human with the 10 memberships gifted tonight. Thank you, CA Human, for the support. And everybody who received one of those memberships now gets full access to members only lives and content here on the YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that, CA Human. That is awesome. 10 memberships. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you. Well, I thought I saw myself tagged a couple times, but I guess I was wrong. I guess my brain's just I'm a little slow tonight, I think. I'm tired. Talk about the Niners. We'll get to that on a member stream. You know, I got lots to say about football, but tonight's not the night. Remington says we need to bring our troops and all those billions that got spent home from the EU. We're working on it. Trump's already moving troops out of Germany. Says much more than 5,000. Germany is very worried because that's billions going to come out of their economy. So Iran's using the Dems playbook, double down on stupid. John says Fetterman votes 99% with the Democrats. I hate him for it. Agreed. But I will tell you, well, actually, I'm going to save it for the segment. There is stuff to say about that on Fetterman for sure. For sure. He's in a bad place. Trolls grow the channel. Each person can report them or block them. Trolls don't grow a channel. And you know what? If that's how YouTube wants me to grow the channel, then I will take the slower way to grow. Trolls are terrible. They ruin the chat. They keep people from having good conversations. They suck all the energy out. And so the best thing to do is ban them immediately. So thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. Bengals going to the disappointment bowl. I love it. Okay. Fetterman has to change parties left. All right, lots of thoughts on Fetterman, so we should just get right into it, shouldn't we? We should just get right into it. So let's do it. You guys want to talk about winning? Well, let's talk about how the midterms are shaping up. So all of this news coming out affecting the midterms has been positive for Republicans and MAGA right now. It's just a fact. We have accrued a great deal of momentum the last 2 weeks. And as far as I'm concerned, guys, we hit the dark times, and the dark times are about over. The dark times were the November through December with all the Epstein stuff and the way they weaponized that against Trump. That was dark times. And then the Iran war, the MAGA, the FAGA explosion of fake influencers, fake MAGA influencers all attacking Trump. The shock of the attack on Iran and all the people who had been duped into thinking that Trump somehow said we never go into war, which is not what he ever said. He just said no forever wars, no meaningless wars, no Iraq and Afghanistan. And so far he's held his promise. No boots on the ground. We're not nation building. But those are the dark times. That was Trump hit his lowest approval because the independents didn't know what to do with themselves. And the libertards are like, oh my God, we just hate every president always because we just don't believe anybody should hold power. And yet we need power to live our idealistic society, but we reject it. You know what libertarians do. And we're coming out of it. The Democrats they had about 4 weeks to do something, to show us something, to show the center something. And they can't do it because they are so crazy. They have lost their minds. And the SCOTUS, Supreme Court, just keeps giving us wins. So right now, SCOTUS has told Louisiana to immediately redraw their map. So this is happening, and this setting a precedent. So all these other states can now redraw their maps immediately. This is a go-ahead order. This is get it done. And this opens up the door for all of them. So the state must complete a compliance plan discussed within 3 days. That's it. 3 days, and we're going to get Louisiana all get rid of this egregious blue line right here, adding at least 1 seat, possibly 2. So this is spreading, and as it spreads, Ketanji Brown Jackson had something to say about it, and it was so retarded what she had to come out and say that Alito took her down. So this doesn't happen very much. Supreme Court justices never bicker in person. They just don't. They believe that that's demeaning to the court. They don't want to let out, but he'd had enough because Ketanji Brown Jackson is just looking so insane, which is actually a good thing for us. She's becoming, even though she's obviously always going to be a vote against anything we want done, she's making it, she's looking so stupid. She's making such a joke of herself that long term, she's going to be a win for us. It's going to be a net win for us because it's completely obliterating their ability to put somebody like her back up there. And it doesn't mean they won't find liberal justice. And so this is obviously a win for us. It just exposes the retardation of the far left, which is always a win. But Alito fires back at her, calling her solo dissent baseless and insulting and utterly irresponsible after she accused the majority of abandoning principle for power. So they're flat out fighting, and this is the kind of thing that'll turn even Kagan and Sotomayor against her. So again, it's small. This is for us policy geeks, us political nuts who've been following it for 25 years like I have and have a sickness that I love this stuff. But I got to tell you, this has major reverberations up on Capitol Hill and up at DC. So something to watch. But again, another win is that just keeps exposing it. And it's showing you how freaked out they all are and how they know this is panic. It's absolute panic. What's happening right now. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is now officially out of Congress because they redrew the lines. If you guys, this woman's been around a long time. She was head of the DNC. She's awful in every sense of the word. So getting her goodbye is just a good one. We're not going to miss her. So thank you, Ron DeSantis, for expelling her. Now, this is what the Democrats are starting to freak out about, that they're starting to realize that the Virginia referendum is probably going to get struck down. This is from Dan Turrentine. He's one of the only Democrats I like. He's a nice guy, and he's not a crazy Democrat. He's actually a moderate Democrat, which barely exists these days. But he is being very honest about where they're at right now. And he says there's a lot of anxiety building amongst Virginia Democrats, and behind the scenes, finger pointing breaking out over who warned of legal issues last fall and who insisted it would be fine. In other words, in Virginia, a bunch of the Democrats were saying, this might not hold up, guys. And they said, do it anyways. It'll be fine. That's a great sign that this is likely going to be struck down. And Seth Keshel, who's the best election analysis out there, he believes it's going down. It's starting to look like it more and more. So that'll take another 4 seats away from them. And then we come to Fetterman. Fetterman is getting fed up with his own party. They have been so crazy that even he can't take it anymore. And that's a big deal coming from a U.S. senator. There's just no one else up there in the Democratic side in the House or the Senate willing to stand up against their own side. They just go along to get along, because the Democrats, they pick and choose their guys really well. Well, they picked and chose Fetterman right after he had a stroke, and they thought they'd be able to control this guy forever. Well, the stroke either healed his mind or they just never expected him to get back to normal. But it turns out there's at least one Democrat with a little bit of common sense, and he's getting ready to possibly leave the Democrats and come to the Republican side. So here's the deal. If he's an independent who caucuses with GOP, he's basically a vote 60 to 70% of the time. That's fine. We'll take it. It also keeps the Democrats from holding power if they get to 50-50. The other thing is if he becomes a Republican, excuse me, if he becomes a Republican, he's very liberal. Okay, so I don't want you guys to misunderstand me. Fetterman is a liberal. He does vote with the Democrats almost 90% of the time or more, and they're still kind of pushing him out. That's how crazy they've become. But I do want to add, once you switch parties, you become a part of that party. You have to start serving that base. So even if you're liberal, you all of a sudden will vote more with the Republicans or the Democrats, just in order to keep your voter base. So it's a win. It's still a net win. It's like going from a full-on Democrat to a rhino. Rhinos suck. We hate rhinos. Rhinos are terrible. We don't want them in our party. However, they're still better than Democrats. And Fetterman will hold the line on a lot of stuff that is important for us, like standing up for Trump's powers of the executive branch. He just won't go along with a lot of the psychopathic stuff. So it's a win, even though he's not going to be a great Republican or anything like that. But at the same time, we'll take it. And if it happens, Seth Keshel says, good sign the GOP has essentially zero shot of losing the midterms now. Fetterman must know the long-term tide in Pennsylvania is red. So Pennsylvania continues to get more and more red in voter registrations. And what he means right here is zero shot of losing the Senate, which if we lose the House, it's imperative we keep the Senate, because with the Senate, Trump will still be able to get judges through, his confirmation picks through for any cabinet posts, anything like that. That is extremely important. That's how you reshape the judiciary. That's how you replace a Supreme Court justice if you must. Remember, in 2018, Trump lost the House. Nancy Pelosi came back in. It sucked, but it was not the end of the world. And this is what it'll be all over again. It'll be 2018 all over again, where the Democrats just kind of slow things down. They do their investigations. They'll do their impeachments. But ultimately, the Senate holds them in check. Trump still gets Supreme Court justices through, other judges through, and is able to do all this other stuff with the Justice Department and foreign policy. So the Senate is the must keep. The House is the bonus. But I think we might hold the House now, too, the way things are trending. Even the former Clinton pollster is getting nervous. Listen, this is what's starting to come out of the Democrats' mouths.
This is closer than people think it is. People are unhappy with the economy. They're unhappy with the Republicans, but they're also even unhappier with the Democrats. And so you have to say, is this election going to be a referendum on the Republicans, in which case that's bad, or is it going to be a choice? And are the Republicans going to be able to make it a choice? If they do that, when I ask who do you have more confidence in to handle the economy, Trump and the Republicans or the Democrats in Congress, Trump and the Republicans win that 53-47. So yes, people are really suffering in terms of the way they perceive the economy, and they're unhappy with the way it's going. But the Democrats haven't stepped up and shown that they will do a better job. And that's why I think this election, although usually the in-party goes out, is still closer than most people think.
That's a warning sign for them, guys. That is absolutely what they do not want to hear. Because the Democrats have already been celebrating as if it's already won. Oh, we got this locked up. Everybody hates Trump. And they feel like because of that, because of Trump's unpopularity right now with independents, they feel like they've already got it sealed up, so they don't have to change. They don't have to offer any solutions. And what he just said is that they still hate Democrats more. So pretty incredible stuff, but it just shows you how far they've gone. And guys, I'm telling you, if they don't get it together, it's over for them for 20 years. It really is, as I'm going to show you. Larry Schweikert posts, they're admitting they're going to lose in November. And you see right here, this crying about the redistricting. A lack of competitive races means that control of the House of Reps will likely be determined in November's midterm election by fewer than 10% of Americans. The winners in most districts all but assured before a single ballot is cast. This is crying. This is complaining. And again, I tend to agree with Larry here. There's a full admission they're going to lose and now blaming redistricting. They are definitely scared of it. They're definitely scared of it. And again, if you want to know the truth, look to what your enemies are doing. Barack Obama, the stress is getting to him, guys. The Obamas are worrying about Trump, and getting pulled back into politics has caused tension with Michelle Obama, says the Daily Beast. This is just yet again, not only are they struggling, probably because the Democrats are doing much worse than expected, but again, it just proves what I always tell you guys. Michelle Obama wants nothing to do with politics. She will never run. That's what everybody was scared about in 24. It never happened, like I said, it won it, and it will never happen again in 28. But she hates it. She just wants to live, or he hates it. Just wants to enjoy that rich life. And so the Obamas are fighting. So there you go. If the Obamas are fighting, it must be great for the Democrats, right? Well, the economy's picking up, and that's going to be people's number one issue, especially if Iran's over. Industry came in strong numbers today. Factory orders up 1.5% versus only 0.4 expected. That is huge. That's almost 4 times more than expected. Transport 1.6 versus so a little bit higher, all pointing to broad-based strength. Pair that with ISM manufacturing PMI holding steady. Expansion for several months, near the highest since 22. This points to solid demand and momentum. These are the indicators of what's coming. This is the beginning. This is the businesses making things, ordering things, which eventually means the consumers, the regular people, wages are going to go up, prices will go down. Good things are coming. So Trump talked at the Small Business Administration today in front of a bunch of business owners, and just had some really interesting things to say. So let me play this from Trump, and you guys can tell me if he sounds confident or not.
Under the last administration, 1 in 4 new jobs was a government job, but since my inauguration, 100%, think of that, 100% of all new jobs have been in the private sector, 100%. We cut a lot of government jobs. And 2 of the 3 new jobs have been in small businesses, but I just want to say, so think of that, 100% of new jobs are in the private sector. Now, to do that, we cut tremendous numbers of governmental jobs, and I feel sorry for everyone, and it's a hard thing to do. Many of those people voted for me, but now they like me because they went out, they got private sector jobs that they like better, and it's paying them sometimes 2 and 3 times more money. So it's worked out the right way, but you have to do that. You can't just we had government jobs where you'd have 10 people doing the job of 1 person, and you can't make America great that way. So we did it the hard way, but the correct way.
So the reason the job numbers are down is twofold. A, they're getting rid of all the illegals. So a bunch of people are leaving the workforce. Okay, millions and millions are now gone. On top of that, the government has been cutting its jobs. And so what's happening is growth under Trump has been 100% private sector. That is a wild thing to say, 100%, but it's absolutely true. 100% of job growth under Trump in this term has been private sector jobs. That's why we've had job numbers go down because of the illegals in the government. But what Trump just told us is that the Biden administration was inflating their job numbers just by every single time. Well, he talks about more here, so let me let him say it, and then we'll cover it.
So we had to cut the jobs because we were way bloated with federal jobs. And, I could, with one swipe of the pen, I could say, let's have no employment, and I'll hire 1 million people or 2 million people. I say, we just hired 1 million people, and we have absolutely no employment. And that's what they would do. They'd have bad numbers coming up, so they'd hire a couple of 100,000 people, and the numbers would look okay. With me, it's the exact opposite. We terminate a lot of federal jobs that are unnecessary, and they don't like me for doing it, but a year later they like me because they end up having a much better job, oftentimes in a place where they'd much rather live. You know, they go to the place that they want to go. They're not stuck in Washington or someplace else, and they do much better. And in the end, I mean, I've had a lot of people come up, they say, I was so angry at you, but now I'm making sometimes 2 or 3 times the money in a job that I really like. So you got to do what you have to do. You have to, politically, I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I think it's probably bad, maybe politically, but in the meantime, I'm in the White House, so maybe it's good.
So Biden was inflating the job numbers. To keep them up, they would just hire. And what Trump said in the previous clip was they'd have 10 people doing one person's job. So it was incredibly overinflated. But if you go back and look at the numbers, he's absolutely right. There was only growth under the Biden years in healthcare and government. And a lot of the government jobs also were part-time. And also, most of the full-time jobs under Biden went to foreigners. So we had an inverting of the American economy where the private sector was struggling badly, and Americans were being replaced by these low-wage people that they were ushering across the border like crazy. Trump's reversing all that, so of course there's an initial shock to the system, but guys, we're starting to come out of it. It's been almost a year and a half that Trump's been back, and they've been running the deportations, the border being closed up, the scaling down of government. Government now is the lowest amount of government employees since 1962. 64 years it's been since our government's been this small employee-wise. That, my friends, will eventually catch up in the budget as well, especially as they root out the fraud in all these welfare systems. So Trump is doing incredible stuff. And here's on the tariffs. Trump talking about the good news about the tariffs. We're going to go even higher. It's going to be beautiful. He's doubling down on that. We're seeing the manufacturing come back because of the tariffs. He's not stopping. We've had a lot of people lately, especially on the fake MAGA, America First, FAGA crowd, lying about a bunch of stuff from Trump. The tariffs, like, oh, they're gone now. No, they're not. He's just doing them through a different process, which takes a little longer because they have to go through studies to evaluate the unfairness of it all, and it's just typical Washington nonsense. The studies take 90 to 180 days, and then once they're done, he can still implement the tariffs. It just slowed it down. Plus, he can use emergency tariffs and all kinds of other powers that the Supreme Court got to him. So this is going to continue as well. And then Trump ended it with this little quote to kind of set everybody off.
It used to take 38 years of deduction. Now you get it done in one. You can take one so you can expand. I think that's what made us so successful in the first term. But now we have it for a 10-year period. So you have it for a while. I really was going to make it for a 1-year period. That would mean you spend all your money immediately. Now, unfortunately, I gave you too much time. I was sort of against that. I said, let's do it for a shorter period of time. But we did it. It's the right thing. And this way, when I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now, I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself.
Freaking everybody out on the left. 8 or 9 more years of Trump. That terrifies them. But I'll tell you, 8 plus 9 equals 17. So, if you know, you know. That's just interesting. Trump always having a little fun with people. Now, we have a study done today from the Washington Post, and looking ahead with the Save America Act that is going to get passed at some point. It might not be before the midterms, but Trump's going to get this done. And look at this. Washington Post announced Donald Trump would have won New Mexico if the elections required citizenship. That's a wild thing for the newspaper to admit. Other blue states would become closer races if it was packed. Did they just admit to cheating? I mean, we all know it. But this would have put his electoral college count up to 317, and that's before that. First of all, that doesn't count the 7 that were stolen because of the census, which would put it up to 324. And then if you add the redistricting and the next census, the shifting of demographics, that's going to add another 10 or so, which puts it up to 334. And this is why I say 2028 is going to be and beyond will be bigger landslides than what Trump pulled off, because all of this is trending in our direction. But the Save America Act changes things significantly. New Mexico would have been Republican +3. Connecticut would have moved up to Democrat +9. I don't remember how far they were, and red states would get redder. Now, this guy on Tim Pool last night broke it down really well.
The other part of this story is not all of this is going to play out this year. I mean, the maximum advantage that Republicans may ultimately get out of this is going to be next year and for the 28 election and probably for the 2030 redraw. I think the one takeaway from this week, both with the opinion from Justice Alito and what's already been going on with California and Virginia, is the redistricting wars are here to stay, because both parties are now trying to lock in real electoral advantages. But again, as you said, Tim, Democrats are looking at a pretty apocalyptic future. I mean, we're looking at potentially like LBJ era 1960, when the Democrats had enormous numbers in the House and in the Senate. There's a real possibility by the end of the 2030 census, when you're looking at 2032, Republicans could have anywhere between 40 to 50 seat advantage. That's the other part.
Can we just say you heard it here first? People are starting to see it. I'm not saying he stole my content, but people are starting to see it. They're looking ahead. They're seeing the math. They're seeing the demographics, and they're saying, "Oh my God, if we win 2028, it's over for a long time." So, guys, again, you can see I'm not the only one saying this stuff anymore. It's becoming more and more obvious, and this is why we white pill, right? Because when you boil it down, when you actually look at what's happening, when you look behind the scenes, when you break narratives, which is what I do every night here on American Fire, when you break narratives and actually look at the truth, the truth is trends are going very much in our direction for the foreseeable future, and that's something to get excited about. So, can I get an amen? All right, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you don't mind. Let me get into the chat for a little bit before the next segment. Next, we're going to catch up on some of the justice stuff going on, the accountability that's ramping up thanks to Todd Blanche and Kash Patel. So we'll get into that in a minute here. And then, of course, we got a Grifter report tonight with a new character. A brand new character has joined FAGA. And I got to say, I was a little surprised, but not that surprised. I had suspicions this might happen, but we're gonna get into that in a minute here too. But I do want to see if I miss anything, catch up, see if you guys anybody tagged me. I gotta love the show. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Let's see. Your boy. If we can get President Trump more MAGA Republicans at midterms, we can cut overseas spendings, balance the books. We'll get there at some point. I think Trump's trying to balance the books by the fraud as well, which would be one way to do it without the Senate. And I think there's actually a chance we might find enough fraud based on just early numbers. It's pretty crazy. Why was Tim Pool blackpilling, says Rumdog. I watch Tim Pool about as much as I watch everybody, which means, I don't watch anybody every day anymore. But I haven't seen Tim Pool blackpilling in a while. So I gotta say, he's been really white pilled since what the Supreme Court did the other day. Remington says voter ID should be absolutely non-negotiable. Getting the right people who love America, and it fixes most problems downstream. Well, I completely agree with you. But it's a fight, and we're gonna have to keep fighting to get it done, because there's literally an entire power block in our country that depends on fraud and cheating to win. We haven't had a real stand-up fight one versus one in a long time, if ever. I mean, there's always been some cheating, but nowhere near the level it has been in recent decades. Let's see. vote Vivek off the ticket. That's not going to happen. Vivek will be the next governor. And, you know, you don't have to love Vivek. You can hate him. You can dislike a lot of his stuff. And I have my issues with Vivek in Ohio, but he's better than a Democrat. And you guys need him over the Democrat. Trust me. You do not want the Democrat to come in Ohio. You guys will go backwards fast. Just look what happened in Virginia with the moderate Democrat Spanberger. Yeah, there is no moderate Democrats anymore. They're all Marxist psychopaths in politics. It's crazy. Crazy. Let's see here. Man, you guys are just having your own conversations tonight. That's great. I love it. If the community's happy talking amongst yourselves, then do it. Do it. And I'll just keep speaking into the mic and running it through. Vivek attended the same town halls as Pete Bootyplug. I mean, listen, like I said, Vivek is kind of a snake oil salesman. He's not great. He's very smart. He's very clever. I don't trust him, but he's better than a Democrat. That's all there is. I mean, listen, you know, we can play the purity test all day, guys, but you know what purity tests do? Purity tests lose. Purity tests mean you lose. And this is politics, and you have to build coalitions. And the only way to get the party you actually want is to build it slow and to keep chipping away. And primaries. You have to vote. You have to get involved. You have to keep going. Because if you don't, you will get candidates you don't like. You'll get rhinos. You'll get uniparty Republicans. And having said that, it's still better than still better than Democrats, because you're either going to get commies who are going to take away your vote by cheating and disenfranchise and ruin your state, chase all the businesses out. I mean, it's happening over and over again. They drive states into the ground. They drive countries into the ground. And if you think that is like the Nick Fuentes, the Owens Schroyer, those retards who say like accelerationism is the only way. No, that's how you lose. That's how you lose your entire country. That's, you know, when you turn to purity and you don't focus on long-term winning, which is step by step. It's not all at once. You cannot win all at once. That just doesn't happen. It's build, chip away, and then a tipping point. That's the only way to win. We're talking about humans here. We're talking politics. We're talking millions of people involved. And so I get it. You can cry about Vivek all you want, but if he's your nominee, you're an idiot if you don't vote for him, because it will become a Democrat. Otherwise, if you play the purity test, if you listen to morons like Owen and Nick and Candace Owens and all these people, if you listen to them, you lose. And then great, you'll be in a gulag, and talking about how like once upon a time you were an idealist. I mean, great, good for you. It's just there's no point to it. You just you got to do the best with what you have, and that's how winners think. Winners don't look at the field, like even in business, anything. What they do is they say, how can I make the most out of what I have? That's how people become wealthy. That's how people become successful. What do I do the most with what I have? They don't say, well, if it's perfect, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm sitting on my butt. That's loser think. And God bless it. That's why we miss Charlie Kirk, Scott Adams, these great men who communicated that and actually got through to millions of people. And we're missing it right now. And the faggot chumps are starting to try to take over. Fetterman with a $5 super chat says, just chipping in. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Let's see. Feisty Granny with the $10 super chat asks, what time is the show airing when you change up? Well, starting next Monday, I will be on at 12 p.m. Yes, I know it's a big change, literally 12-hour difference from where I'm at now. But I tell you guys, if you can't tell, I'm tired. I do this after working full time. I do this after taking care of my family. As of next Monday, I'm going into business for myself, and that part of that business is that I'm going to be freeing up a lot of more time to do this channel, this content, build out a lot of stuff in the membership, and I'm making time for that. And so by doing so, it's going to be a much better schedule for me, for my family, and honestly, long term for everybody, because I'll be able to talk about stuff in live time. I'll be able to just produce more stuff as things happen. But listen, that's the old Rush Limbaugh slot, and I'm not Rush, but he did pretty well in it, so I figure it's a good place to go. Always learn from the best, right? Always learn from the best. Let's see. Why put money into someone when there's no return? I didn't say you have to give money to Vivek or anybody like him, but I'm just saying when it comes to vote, you got to vote for him. And again, like, vote in the primaries. If you want, that's your chance to get the real winners. And if it doesn't work this time, then do it again in 4 years. Just go every time and get out there and work for the people you want. Like, you know, so I'm on at 12 now. This is a big difference. Let's see. Not vote for foreigners to flood my state more than they have. Well, Robert, I'm telling you right now, you are voting, whether you know it or not. So you'll either vote for Vivek, who is kind of a snake oil salesman, is way too friendly with H-1Bs, or you won't vote, and your vote will basically be a non-vote for Vivek, and you'll get a Democrat who will also flood in H-1Bs and be open borders and be more welfare for the illegals, and more of your tax dollars will go to illegals and to immigrants, and they'll do it 10 times worse than Vivek. So yeah, it's either you pick one or the other. You pick, so you have a choice. You can do the 50% bad or the 100% bad. And I got to say, with 50% bad, you have a lot more to work with moving forward. I'll just, that's how you got to look at it, honestly. I mean, look, I was in Texas. I had to vote for Cornyn, and now we might get Paxton. But it took years to get that replacement. Now I'm not in Texas anymore, but somebody mentioned Paxton and Cornyn. But that's how you do it, guys. It takes time. It takes time. You have to keep working. You have to keep working in primaries to get the real people we want. And then in the general, you have good choices. If we don't get to the general with good choices, you pick the least worst choice. And, it's better. If you can't win, you can at least live to fight another day by slowing down the death. Do you understand? If you choose Democrats, you get fast death and decay for our country. If you choose a rhino, you slow down the death and decay, and you might get a couple of wins along the way. If you choose a true MAGA patriot type, you win. I'd still rather have a rhino over a Democrat every freaking day, as it gives us time to survive a little longer. Feisty Granny with the $2 says, May 17th, National Day of Prayer for our nation. Amen. I'm excited for that. Not voting equals voting for a Democrat. That is 100% true. Yeah, you have to vote. Do not listen. The biggest losers on the liberals and crazy people with spikes in their face, blue hair, who would kill you in a heartbeat if it meant that they could go kill babies as much as they want. Those people believe their vote counts, and they will show up, and they show up by the millions. And so when anybody on the good side thinks your vote doesn't count and you just stay home, you're letting those people's votes count even more. So that's That's just, you can't do that. You can't do that. Jay says, if it comes in November, Vivek versus Anton, I vote Vivek by default because I hate Democrats. Fear you're being fooled. You know what, Jay? You might be completely right. You might be fooled by Vivek. But I'll tell you what, by Vivek even just being a Republican, he will be held in check by his voters more. So you might get some dumb things he does. Absolutely. I'm not pretending he'll be great. But what I'll tell you is that by being associated with the Republican Party, that's where his money comes from and his base. And if he cares about power, he has to stay in power. And the only way to stay in power is to actually mostly do what they want. So yeah, he might sneak a couple bad things through, but that's still better and usually can be undone by the next guy versus the decades of damage a Democrat can do in just a couple years. So, it does. It sucks. I'm not saying it's great, but if you want to win a war, and we are in a war, if you want to win a war, you have to take the small wins. You have to, every single chance you get, because if you're not advancing, you're losing. And sometimes not advancing means staying put, or not being pushed back means staying put. So, Thomas Massey's a great idea, a great example. I'm not in Kentucky, so thank God I don't have to make this choice. I hate Thomas Massey. He's awful. But if I have to vote between Massey and a Democrat, I will vote for Massey. That's just how it goes. And, so what do I think about Mark Carney? Mark Carney is a City of London banker. He is doing every bit of bidding City of London cabal wants him to do. That guy is as fraudulent as it gets, as awful as it gets. So yeah, it's terrible stuff. Communists and Muslims are taking over our country right now. Well, they're not, but they were. We're winning. We're winning, Mary. And you were absolutely right that was happening and they were trying, but they're being beat back hard right now. And that's why they're freaking out. And with the trends going forward, I mean, we just hold power and we're gonna win this big time over the next decade and further on. Hope Paxton can keep his pants on in Washington. I know Paxton's not perfect, but I think overall he's good. So, Trump's endorsed Letlow. A lot of folks don't like her. How do we back her even when she's not popular? Just because Trump endorsed somebody doesn't always mean you don't have to listen to Trump. If it's primaries, vote your conscience. Vote your conscience in the primaries. Vote to win in the main election. That's what you do. Okay? I will say this about Trump. Sometimes he endorses people not because he likes them or thinks they're great, but because he either knows something else about the other person that hasn't come out yet, or he's doing an exposure. Okay? That happens too sometimes. But sometimes he just endorses people he knows are most likely going to win, and so he just pushes them over the finish line so that it's easy and they don't have to spend as many resources there. All right, so that's how you gotta look at it. But yeah, vote your conscience in the primaries, vote to win in the general. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Kim Wiley makes a great point right here before I move on. All right. She says, take a look at Arizona. Hobbs is horrible. And yes, I voted for Carrie Lake despite not being thrilled with her. Now I'd give anything to have Carrie Lake. And that's what it is, guys. Remember, you might hate Vivek, but if you got the Democrat, you might look back and say, I'd give anything to have Vivek right now. So just remember that. Oh, Cassidy's gone. He's going to lose, and it's beautiful. I'm stoked to see him lose. So can't wait for that. All right, you guys ready? let's get into it. So let's talk about justice. Let's talk about what Kash Patel and Todd Blanchard are doing. Kash Patel today dropped this, and this is pretty fun.
Tonight, the FBI continues its relentless crackdown on fraud.
The FBI cracking down on the massive Feeding Our Future fraud scheme.
Operation Gold Rush uncovered nearly $15 billion in false claims, the largest healthcare fraud bust in department history.
Federal agents swarming homes from L.A. to Sacramento to make arrests in a sophisticated mortgage fraud case. FBI Director Kash Patel and the Bureau are providing major investigative support to the White House task force to eliminate fraud.
The hunt continues as agents seize millions in stolen assets nationwide.
FBI agents raided a Bloomington business on Thursday after prosecutors say it billed Medicaid for more than $1 million worth of services but didn't do much.
The level of fraud in these programs is staggering.
The Anti-Fraud Task Force has suspended 447 hospices and 23 home health agencies.
The largest number of convictions in a single fraud investigation in recent memory.
We are going to stop the fraud.
Southern Poverty Law Center accused of defrauding donors by paying members of the extremist groups it purports to fight.
It paid more than $3 million to at least 8 individuals from groups it claimed to oppose.
Federal, state, and local authorities are executing more than 20 search warrants in the Twin Cities tied to ongoing fraud investigations.
Federal agents seen leaving the Quality Learning Center.
Federal agents are raiding about 22 businesses across Minneapolis.
We really have the most accelerated, aggressive anti-fraud operation that we've ever seen from the federal government.
The size of the fraud continues to be exposed, and there will be more arrests coming.
Boom, baby. That's my FBI director, Kash Patel. He's got great taste in music too. Sabotage, that's the best. That's the best Beastie Boys song right there. I don't care what you say. If you say anything else is better, you're wrong. That's the best Beastie Boys song. That is great ad. Gets me hyped as to what we're doing. And it should, because we're seeing a lot of exposure right now, guys. Molly Hemingway, SPLC indictment shows partisan activists were running the FBI domestic terror program. How terrifying is that? Partisan activists running the terror program? That is crazy. And of course, that's why they were targeting Christians and white people as extremists, because they put them in charge. They put the crazy people in charge of one of the most important programs for our personal safety here on, like, at home. It's just crazy stuff. We never would have found this out if it wasn't for Trump winning. We have Florida Attorney General launching civil investigation, SPLC, issuing subpoenas as part of the probe and organization's activities. We're just going to get so much more exposure as this goes through discovery and all that. Investigation being conducted under Florida's Consumer Protection Authority. I love Florida right now. They're helping out the Trump administration. They're really forwarding the MAGA agenda in a major way. It says highly influential advocacy organization was indicted by Department of Justice for allegedly funding extremist groups like KKK, Aryan Nation, Unite the Right to fraudulently exaggerate the threat of right-wing extremism and to fundraise off of it. Now they're facing potential civil litigation over fraud. Hopefully this just destroys them, defund them completely, and expose to the world how awful these NGOs and nonprofit left-wing organizations are that we've been dealing with for so long. On top of this, listen, the justice is spreading everywhere. They're looking up the fraud. They're going after the NGOs, drug busts, obviously, cartels. But look at this. We've been waiting for this one. So Brooke Rollins came out today and says foreign companies were manipulating American meat market. Are you guys ready for beef to get cheaper? Because this is how we're going to do it. Half of these meatpacking giants, including the largest meatpacker in the world, are either foreign-owned or have significant foreign ownership and control, making them a threat. As time has gone on, it becomes more and more clear food security is national security. Guys, because they're deeming it national security, Trump can invoke powers to break up these monopolies and really empower farmers again. I have a feeling we're going to get beef. You know, if you go back 100 years, beef was cheaper than chicken. You know that? This has all been manipulated to create all of our prices, even with our food. It's just all fraud. They started ultra breeding chickens, pumping them full of steroids to get more meat out of them. And cows, meanwhile, one cow can feed like 800 people. They were getting rid of those. Why? Because red meat makes you stronger and healthier. Red meat is the best meat for you. But they want us all weak and frail. You wonder why testosterone's gone down. You wonder why the kids today, like, they look so small. While there's no masculinity left in America, it feels like sometimes. Look to stuff like this. I mean, it's a lot of other things. There's a lot of environmental factors. There's a whole lot of reasons for this. Vaccines, the poisons in our food. But a big part of it's beef, too. We used to eat beef like crazy, and now we don't. And it's so bad for you to just stick to white meat. Not that it's wrong to eat white meat sometimes, but anyways, it says brutal reality is such foreign ownership of meat packers been affiliated not just with corruption, but also cartels. Recent last week's slave labor, bad enough on its own. It's also a detriment of America's great independent ranchers and consumers. Further, when four firms control a market, suppliers and food prices are rocked heavily when disruptions occur. Trump's acutely aware of these challenges, evidenced by his Truth Social directive last November, directing Department of Justice to investigate Big Four meat packers for potential collusion and price manipulation. Ensuring these practices don't happen will protect both producers and consumers. I'm so ready for this. I am so ready for my beef to be cheap again. Bring this on all day. All day. Can't wait. Now, Data Republican and others have uncovered this crazy scam that was going on that was actually ultimately very dangerous. So check this out. This guy, Miles Taylor, worked in the first Trump administration, served as Department of Homeland Security Deputy Chief of Staff and advisor to John Kelly, who is Trump's Chief of Staff, and he was under Donald Trump. He led sensitive counterterrorism activities at DHS, including work to disrupt terrorist plots, span multiple cells, countries, and attack vectors. And he created a website where people send messages with threats to Donald Trump. This is a crazy story that's breaking. Data Republican, as always, just gets into it. But it collected death threats against the president, 4,000 people's personal data, and exposed them through open API. Which, honestly, right, you'd think that kind of sounds like a good thing, right? But they were, well, let me just read it. I showed you on Miles Taylor's GTFO ICE site exposed 17,000 people's data, but Taylor's organization Defiance didn't just build a leaky site, built two on the same server. Undo Trump and signing up for fictional removal parties at government buildings, White House Ballroom, Kennedy Center, DOJ, battleships. 4,000 sign-up records, 3,300 unique people. This one has death threats against sitting president in the database. Manu is Deputy Chief of Staff for the Department, houses Secret Service, couldn't secure a sign-up form again. And then she puts together this thread. But again, this guy worked for DHS, and he hates Trump, but he's compiling all this data. And here's the joke. On April Foods, he admitted removal parties aren't real. Data collection was real. 4,000 signups. So he's collecting all these people who are just talking about killing Trump and going after Trump. Many of the messages didn't indicate knowledge site was a prank. Some just suggested they were government employees. So they caught a bunch of government employees saying that they were signing up to be like anti-Trump, kill Trump. This is crazy stuff. Taylor signed up for his own site as a user 2 days before public launch. Pre-launch signups or test users that knew exactly what the site collected. So also a lot of government data in this too. So Anyways, this is a massive exposure going on. Foreign nationals are in there. Say Miles Taylor put up billboards in solidarity with Seditious Six. But here's a conclusion. Miles Taylor put out a video walking through the site, shows you exactly how to enter your name and email. 4,000 people took the date. And anyways, just all this information is getting out there, and a lot of this is sensitive information, but they all coalesced over hating Trump. So crazy stuff, man. She always finds the wildest stuff, but again, exposure. It just keeps happening. It just keeps coming out. And speaking of killing Trump today, this is probably one of the guys on the site. Armed man opened fire in the vicinity of J.D. Vance's motorcade. Opened fire on Secret Service, and they took him down. Thank God they took him down. Well, this is while Trump was at the small business thing. But I got to tell you that somebody wrote me today and was like, bro, I love you, but I'm so worried that you trust J.D. Vance. Don't you realize all the bad guys love J.D. Vance? And I'm like, who? Nick Fuentes hates him. Tucker is starting to turn on him since he fired his brother. They're trying to kill JD as well. Everywhere I look, the bad guys hate JD Vance. So I don't know where that comes from. By the way, I have a major breakdown I'm going to do on some of the JD Vance stuff coming out that is just all a psyop, and it started with Whitney Webb and has been continuing. But we're going to break it down in a deep dive, either on a members live or on a slow news day. I haven't decided yet, but I'm compiling my outline right now. But and then Brian Cates breaks this down really well, and this is an interesting theory, but I'm going to do some more research on this because I want to see how this holds up. But listen to this. Been patiently explaining to people stuck in a mental loop there's a case enemy is infiltrated. Turned spies are everywhere at this point. All Trump had to do is agree to appear to compromise by its very nature venue his security. He's talking about the assassination attempt on Trump. His security could not lock down to attend an event being held by literal Mockingbird media intelligence assets disguised as journalists. That's at the White House Correspondents' dinner, and leave that door cracked open just a little bit. How hard would it be to figure out somebody who's going to try to stick their foot in the door? You don't need to be Nostradamus. You don't need to be a time traveler. You don't need to be smart and have good spies for you in the enemy camp. What they're alleging, him and X-22 report here, is that it was staged, but the deep state staged it. And Trump and the team knew it, and they allowed it to expose people. This is a wild conspiracy theory, but I like X-22 and Brian. So I'm going to pay attention to this one and look into it a little more. But it says that's why Trump was calm while Melania was under the table, which is exactly true. That's a wild video. But he says right here, this is the post I just read. But anyways, very interesting. Very interesting. But it does make you think. And this is a theory I do subscribe to, is that Trump has where lots of people were calling for him to abolish institutions like the FBI, the CIA, Trump has actually just taken it back over. And he's using that information. He's got good people in place now. They have all the information. They have access to everything. And so there's a lot more control in the Trump White House and the administration than many want to give him credit for. And I do believe that. I do believe they have a lot more planned out. They understand a lot more what's going on. They're not even just one step ahead of the enemy. They might be 5 steps ahead of the enemy. So it is something to think about because that was pretty crazy. Now, do I say I completely agree with this? Or no, I'm not saying that at all. I think this is a wild theory, just so you understand. But I do think it's interesting. And I do think there might be some credibility to the idea of it, but I mainly wanted to introduce it just to say that I do agree with the idea that Trump and them are actually way ahead of the bad guys more so than people think. And that goes along with everything I've said in Iran, with what's happening in the midterms, how they've planned this out. You see, when Trump was gone for 4 years, he had a long time to plan. And you notice how different this administration is than the first one. The first administration was a lot of learning. Trump was understanding them. He was realizing who was on his side and who wasn't. And he started getting it all put together so that they could launch operations in every single area when he got back, including military on foreign soil and domestically. And that's why we're starting to see stuff like this come out, because he's prepared this time. And I'm telling you, he's way further ahead of the enemy than just a step or a half step. And guys, the enemy at this point, whether it's City of London, whether it's China, whether whoever, they're not even close to winning. They're getting throttled. And that's why the constant panic. And so, again, no doom pilling, no black pilling, no doom saying, because we are winning. We're winning big. All right, guys, if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe. Next is the Grifter report, and we're going to get into that. And I'm actually going to jump into it quick here because it's getting late. And then I will get back into the chat after we do the Grifter report, because I'm excited for this one. There's some fun stuff in it. But I do want to acknowledge the super chat from Remington for the $5. Says, hiring more fraud investigators is like investing in massive returns. Their salary is nothing compared to the money we'll save. 100%. I completely agree with you. The fraud is estimated to be in the billions and billions, and I think at some point it'll cross into trillions. So what JD Vance is doing right now is incredible, and I'm very, very excited to see how all this ends up. So, all right, but you guys know you love the Grifter report. All right, tonight we have a new grifter. We have a new Fagaland, America First guy, Greg Bovino. This is interesting, and let's break this down because this one's going to shock some people. Bovino was leading ICE. He was very big deportations, okay? Get him out. And ever since he's left, he's been highly critical. Remember, Trump asked him to step down after Minnesota. He's been hypercritical that they've stopped the mass deportations, and people like MTG and stuff have been spreading it around saying, see, we told you so. They've stopped it. They haven't stopped it, by the way. But Bovino, this is the tell, all right? When these guys are actually bad eggs, they always give you a tell. And what did Bovino do? He went immediately from a post-retirement interview to Lauren Witzke of Died Suddenly. Died Suddenly, I've called out on all kinds of crazy stuff. Their COVID stuff's good and pretty much nothing else is. But Stu Peters is a part of this as well. And you got Stu Peters and Witzke right here in the picture. Bovino's not in this picture. But I got to tell you guys, Stu Peters is one of the worst, okay? He's awful. And he was FAGA grifter way before all these big people were, okay? He is one of the originals grifting off MAGA. And the guy has been caught in so many lies, I don't even know what to do with you. I mean, like, who the heck follows this guy? But they still got an audience. They still have an audience. And for Bovino to go straight to them tells me pretty much all I need to know. So you have Stu Peters right here. Trump's a pedophile Jew. Hegseth's a Zionist. I mean, the guy's crazy. But here it is, Bovino right here with Witzke. Why mass deportations aren't happening, tell all with Greg Bovino. This is a direct assault on the Trump administration, because this is one of the main things MAGA wants. And so for Bovino to go here tells you all you need to know. And it also tells you that Trump knew, and that's why Trump got rid of him. So there really might have been, knowing this now, they might have been screwing up in Minnesota on purpose, which was a huge boondoggle, allowed the Democrats to start gaining some momentum in the illegal immigrant deportation battle, until Holman came in, took everything over, settled it down, and it's been quiet since. It's been quiet since, and Trump masterfully shuffled the chessboard again. as he always does, shuffle the chess pieces on the board. He always does this. He always knows. And it just proves again, like, people were upset about this when Bovino stepped down, or when Trump asked him to step down, removed him, and put Home in charge. People were upset. They were like, Bovino's one of the good ones. Well, guys, this tells you everything you need to know. So I think this, I operate by a rule that is Trump's always right. I always trust Trump first and foremost. Okay. And so I'll tell you that for me, anytime Trump makes a move, even if other people are upset about it, I think to myself, he's doing this for a reason. And you want to know how many times that's saved me, that's made me look smarter than everybody else? I can't even count at this time. We're talking hundreds of times, because I have trusted Trump since to me, he earned it in the first term. I've trusted him ever since. And because of that, just by staying the course, I get, over and over and over again, we get proven right. And so this is just another example of it. So Bovino showed his true colors. And I just think that was, it's important to call this stuff out. So, but all right. So Nick Fuentes, speaking of other grifters, the big guys they're getting a little crazier. And I got to say, they're really, really upset that they weren't able to turn MAGA over the Iran war. They thought that was they thought that was it. They thought that was going to be their Waterloo, their Gettysburg, where they were going to turn the tide and finally get MAGA to turn on Trump. Epstein didn't work. They really tried to push that. That didn't work. So Iran was like, oh, we got him. We got him. We can push this. All these lies about what Trump actually said, or what Trump said versus what he actually said, and it didn't work. And so now they're kind of admitting who they actually are. Well, at least Nick is, which tells me that he's done. And here's Nick admitting he's part of a demoralization campaign.
We have to demoralize them. And that's honestly why I do it. That's why I do the show. That's why I do shows like this. It is to demoralize. And some of them say that like it's a bad thing, like they figured me out. They're like, he doesn't want you to know that he's running a demoralization campaign. No, I do want you to know. That's exactly what I'm doing. I am intentionally and self-consciously and willfully demoralizing you.
Do you guys know that's what blackpilling is all about? Demoralize, discourage, so you don't get involved anymore. And so now, that's what they've all been doing. That's what Tucker's doing. That's what Megyn Kelly's doing. That's what Candace Owens is doing. That's what Alex Jones is doing. Just keep going down the road. That's what they do. They blackpill you so you are demoralized and you don't win. This is how you kill Trump and his agenda. You destroy the base. You fracture the base. And that's what they're doing. That is their operation. Okay. That is that's what they were gathered for. That's what their assets of that operation right there. And they're at the point now where, like, even here, I played the immigration one from him the other night, but he says right here, my war against Israel is the only thing keeping me going at this point. Who cares about immigration? That's all he cared about. That's all he cared about. So we're seeing that Trump is winning so much that the reason he's talking about being a demoralizer is because he's demoralized, which tells you we're winning. And speaking of winning, Laura Loomer is just absolutely destroying Candace Owens right now. And this story about her husband getting in a DUI in America is massive, because what it could do for Candace's husband is it could make him his naturalization papers be revoked. He won't be able to be an American citizen if this is true. And that so this is a big deal, and Candace is freaking out about it. And Laura just keeps posting receipts so that they don't own this truck. Well, he wasn't a U.S. citizen. He did as a green card holder. but she's got the list of all their vehicles, and she's posting it. I mean, she's got their Carfax. I mean, so Laura just keeps posting all this stuff. And again, I'm not a fan of Laura Loomer, but when she goes after somebody, she tends to have receipts. And if she brings down Candace Owens, that'll be a big, huge attagirl from me. But source tells me farmers' 23 DUI and a citizenship application records at INS are being evaluated allegedly. I mean, that, my friends, would be huge, and it would make sense. Candace, if her husband has to go back to the UK, well, Candace isn't going to be able to stay here. Or will she? Because it's not a real marriage anyways, or is it? I don't know. But everything about Candace is just coming out more and more as fake. And somebody, and I love doing this. I've actually done this on my show before where I break down a channel and how to see if it's fake or not. But somebody did it with Candace. And Candace, 7.5 million followers on Facebook, but are they real? Well, she calls Shapiro, he's buying views for his main show. You can tell by the comment ratio. So let's look at her comment ratio. This is what this person did. Over $1 million a year Candace spends on advertising. That's insane, guys. I can tell you as somebody who worked in marketing, who still works in marketing for now. But if you have this many followers and you only get that many likes, it tells you that these are followers you probably paid for. Because followers you pay for, they see your advertisement, they click follow, and then they're just not interested after that because you didn't really attract them the right way. I see it all the time on YouTube. There are tons of David Pakman's a good one on the left. These channels with millions of followers, and they'll put out videos where 10,000 people watch them. It's pathetic, and it shows you that people are not engaged with them. Just for example, on my channel, I just passed 23,000 subscribers, which thank you very much. That's a lot. And like and subscribe if you're watching and you haven't done it yet. But 23,000 followers, and a bad video for me is usually around 4,000 views. That's like a bad video, which a bad video out of 24,000, that's 1/6. So that's 16%. So a bad video for me is 16% engagement now. Okay. That's pretty strong. That means I have a strong base of watchers. Well, this is what 2,900 is of 7.5 million. It's 0.04%. That's no bueno. Okay. That's no bueno. And this is, guys, if you want to do an experiment someday, go look at all your favorite people, your favorite influencers, see how many followers they have, and then do the math on how much their videos are doing, what their bottom is and what their ceiling is. Their ceiling, they should have videos that go beyond their subscriber base because they blow up, right? And then they should have a floor that it should be no less than 10%. And if it's less than 10%, a lot of those videos are and followers are botted. Well, Candace, you've been caught because 7.5 million to 2,900 is crazy low. So Laura, again, she pulled the satellite image of the truck. There's the DUI and the Carfax. So that's just more of what I was already showing you guys. But anyways, Laura is just not going to let this go. And but the walls are closing in on Candace, okay? We have this DUI thing with her husband, which could send him back to England. We have this lawsuit coming up, which is not looking good for her. She's already backtracking some of the things she said. You grift long enough, you keep lying. You gotta, you better be able to back stuff up, Candace. And she's gone too far, and it's getting really bad for her, which I'm so here for. And finally, I want to look at Marjorie Taylor Greene today because she was out there saying some crazy stuff. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene, which, do we want to watch it? I don't think we want to watch it. It's not fun. She's not a great speaker, but I mean, we'll listen for a second. She says some crazy stuff.
One person, and I said, oh my goodness, How can I continue to serve under this president and serve in a body of Congress where not a single person is willing to say, Mr. President, Marjorie's not a traitor. She helped you get elected.
Hey, Marjorie, how about the fact that you were supposed to be serving the people who voted for you? It was only a 2-year term because you're in the House. You couldn't last 2 years? I'm sorry, there's no excuse for that. It's pathetic, and it's the perfect example of a reason why she's just a total hack. But anyways, we'll listen a little bit more.
But then guess what happened? I started getting death threats, and it was about me being called a traitor. It was, you're a traitor. You deserve to die. You're a traitor.
I love how all these MAGA death threats just always seem to happen to these people, and yet none of them ever have their life threatened. Meanwhile, Trump is constantly shot at. J.D. Vance was shot at. His cabinet members are living on military bases because there's no safety for them. And yet these people always get these mysterious death threats, and yet nothing ever seems to happen to them. I don't know. They love to do this, though. Candace did the same thing.
My baby boy. We're going to snuff out his life. We're going to put a bullet in his head.
I'm sure this really happened.
Marjorie Trader Green. So I sent those to the president, texted him directly. I also sent them to Susie Wiles and James Blair. And I also sent them to the Vice President, J.D. Vance, Kash Patel. I sent them to all these people. I got no response from Susie Wiles. None. And she's a mother and a grandmother and a woman. I got no response from James Blair because he only cares about making money on campaigns. I did hear from Kash Patel. He said on it, but I haven't heard from him since. I don't know what he's on.
It's so funny.
And then I heard back from Donald Trump. And I've saved these text messages. I'd probably get put in jail if I released them publicly, but
I saved these text messages, but I can't release them because I'd probably be put in jail. Did you hear what she just said? Trust me, bro.
Heard back from Donald Trump. And I've saved these text messages. I'd probably get put in jail if I released them publicly, but I saved them.
That's the tell right there. But trust me, I saved them. I got them.
Donald Trump proceeded, if my son gets killed, I deserve it because I was a traitor to him.
Anyway, things that have never happened. Nobody is got half a brain cell is going to believe this story. Okay. I mean, even MJ Truth puts it, if you call BS. I mean, come on. President Trump said, if your son gets killed, you deserve it. That is the craziest thing. Can you believe the stuff that comes out of this woman's mouth? And to say, I saved it, but then I can't show you because I get arrested, that's insane. These are the people who are like, oh, we'll release everything Epstein and Epstein this and Epstein that, and then they don't do anything with it when they have access to it, when they could announce everything on the floor, when they have, because they're immune from defamation if they read stuff out on the floor of the Capitol, which is why Thomas Massey's full of crap. But this woman, again, all that stuff, you put all that stuff out there, you wouldn't get arrested for that. So you really think sharing a text from Trump, all the terrible things people have shared on Trump to try to get him in trouble that weren't that so terrible, actually. They tried to put him in prison. And, those people go to jail? No, it doesn't happen. This woman's so full of it. It's insane. And then she ends with this beauty right here.
And then the solution after that is how to fund these people and how to get them elected. And that's what we're looking at. MAGA is dead. We're moving past Donald Trump. And the quicker we move past him, the faster we get to the whiteboard, the faster we build the solutions, the quicker we're ahead of everybody else on the way to saving the country. Are you guys
inspired by Monkey Face? Listen, the MAGA is dead. Did you hear that? So what have I been telling you guys since the beginning when we started calling out the grifters? This started, I really noticed it about 6-7 months ago. But it's their code. is America first. That's what they all say. You can see it in, Fuentes. He has his America First hat right here. And by the way, it's blue. Interesting, right? It tells you all you need to know. But that's their grift. It's America First. This is what they all use. We're the real America First. Thomas Massey uses it. Alex Jones uses it. Tucker Carlson uses it. Megyn Kelly uses it. I don't know if Candace uses it, but I'm probably pretty sure she does. But this is the Alex Dugan training, okay? He is the puppet master behind all these ideas. Now, I'm not saying he controls them all, but he's definitely the one used to get the ideas to them. And because he's the psychological warfare master, okay? And so, but it's America First. This is what they want you to get. They want you to get away from MAGA and say, I'm America First. Because it used to be you'd say, I'm MAGA, America First, baby. Yeah, you combined them, right? But MAGA was still the movement. Well, what they've done is they've co-opted the America First part, and they've made it their rally cry so that you think they're MAGA or you think they're MAGA aligned. But it's their way of saying, no, we got our own group. We got our own blue hats. You know, Dave Smith, another one of them. They're all they all coalesce around that. And so when you hear that, they're trying to kill the MAGA movement because it is the only real threat to the globalist City of London cabal that's been going on for centuries, that has embroiled us and caught us up and stolen from us and almost ruined our country for the last few decades and almost won. They got us there. But that's what it is, guys. That's their rally cry. And I noticed it months ago that they don't like to say MAGA. They don't. They like to say we're the real America First. Okay, that's what they want. And it's first of all, there's nothing wrong with the phrase America First. Okay, especially if you're meaning it with MAGA. But for them, it's always that's the rally cry. It is the main thing. And that's why Fuentes has the hat. Okay, there's a reason for that. That's their rally cry, and that's how they get you to say. Owen Schroyer does it too. And what they'll do is they'll be going through this stuff and they'll say that's not America First. And you're like, we're really America First. We were here first, And when they start saying that, that's the code. That is the code that we are a part of the destruction of MAGA. We're the ones undermining a MAGA. We're the ones trying to get rid of MAGA. And so, again, and then, of course, today she's outright about it. MAGA is dead, she says. So, anyways, we're not dead. MAGA's stronger than ever. MAGA's united. These people are losing. These people are losing influence. They're pathetic. We're calling them out on their lies. I'll continue to cover it on the Grifter Report here on America Fire, and we're just going to keep breaking it down and making sure that these people don't gain an inch, and in fact get pushed all the way out. So, all right, guys, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you guys for watching tonight. I appreciate you. I do want to share one last thing. Giuliani is out. He's not out, but he's off the ventilator, and his doctor's calling it a miracle. So we prayed for Rudy Giuliani last night, as did millions of Americans. And so that's awesome. That's awesome. Just wanted to share that as well. Okay, let me get into the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then I will, then we'll call it a night here soon. But I do want to make sure. I thought I saw. Did I see? Oh, yeah, there was another. David with the $10 super chat, brother. Says, wow, the red coats are everywhere. Yeah, they are. The faggot coats. They're everywhere, man. They're terrible. But, yeah, City of London is absolutely right. Matt Morris and I are the same. Interesting. You think so? I still haven't watched him. That's funny. Well, Castellum says, I love Matt Morris, but I'm worried now with America First thing because he says that all the time, but he also has red MAGA hat. Well, like I said, it's how they use it that's important, okay? If he starts, and I don't know Morse, so I'm not I can't say. But if he starts aligning himself with like, if you start hearing him say like Marjorie Taylor Greene makes some good points, or this is not America first, if he starts saying stuff like that, then that's a problem. But if he's just saying, MAGA and America first is MAGA, like that's not bad. Yeah, so listen, you guys, don't overthink it. It's how it's used that matters. It's how, okay? That's the difference. What's not for America is quitting. Exactly. Knowing her Republican vote, 100%. She doesn't care at all, Marjorie Taylor Greene is only out for herself. I'm a different style than him, but we're both great. Well, I'll take that. I don't want to be a copy of anybody, so that's good. How many oil shares am I shorting? None. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. I would sell too soon. Just get emotional with that stuff. Lisa Couture says, my son who fell for the grift said that to me. He used the America first line. He's unfortunately falling this bull. There it is. Yeah, he probably listens to Nick. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like I said, saying America first, nothing wrong with, okay? But they've turned it into something different. They've weaponized it. They've weaponized it to mean it's the real slogan over MAGA. So when the way they use it is to be like America first, and when they mean that, they mean MAGA's failed. MAGA's not America first. We are. That's how they use it. So it does depend on how they use it. Okay. And yeah, America only is a problem too. Because we're not America only, and we'll never be America only, but we can be America first, and that's what we need to be. Okay, anything else I'm missing here? Morris is a patriot, but he doesn't understand what's going on like you do. Well, that's a compliment to me. I'll accept that. I'll say this, as I put in a lot of time on this, and a lot of these guys, and this is not downing on Morse. I don't know him, okay? I'm just saying a lot of guys in general and gals. They really don't know what they're talking about. They just like Trump. They know he's heading in a direction they like, and they're just reporting the news, and they're like, yeah, Trump, go get him. And there's nothing wrong with that. That has its place. But then there's people like me who was here way before Trump and was fighting. I didn't call it America first. I was just a conservative Christian fighting for my country, believing for things for my country. And I was a student of history and politics and a deep, deep love of this country. And since I was 17, I started becoming involved and eating up all the knowledge I could and wanting to seek truth and understand things from a deeper level. And so I've been doing that since I was 17. That's been 25 years, almost 26 years now. And so I was way before Trump. And so I didn't use Trump to like start thinking about things. No, Trump he's opened my eyes to a lot, but he's also become the champion of things I wanted way before Trump. And so, yeah, I do have a deeper perspective than a lot of people. And there's people with deeper perspectives than me, and I'm learning from them all the time. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are they love Trump and they're patriots and they're very surface level, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's just a difference between me and a lot of other people. Seth, did I watch Rich on Politics about symbolism of the king? Yes, I did. And I was jealous because I did my own video on that and it was good, but those guys hit another level and I was jealous because I was like, dang, I wish I'd known about a couple of these things. It was very good. Very good. Morris is a compliment to my channel. Awesome. Well, good. I mean, if somebody's good doing the good work out there, that's awesome. MAGA has the most intelligent supporters, says Fender. I agree with you. I think MAGA people are very smart, honestly. Carlson says we can never lose MAGA as a primary tag. Morse doesn't understand London side. He's a patriot. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, listen, MAGA matters, and the reason the MAGA thing matters is because it is so. We do need to coalesce behind a leader. The only way we win in this is by following leaders, and MAGA is Trump's thing. And so by saying MAGA, you're not just saying you are America first. You're not just saying you like the direction we're heading in. You're ready to fight for our country. You're also saying you recognize our leader, and that's important. And these people want you to turn from the leader. They want you to turn from the leader, so so we fall apart, and that's what they want, because that's the only way they can take him down. So that's what happens when you lose the MAGA part of it. Will I go on with Paramount Tactical? I don't know what that is, so I'd have to find out before I would. But I'm open to going on anybody's show, but I have to know who they are. That's more in a nutshell. Okay, well, I don't like calling out somebody without knowing him. I'm sure he's a great guy. I just don't follow him. So, I have a hard time following the surface level people, and it's not because I don't respect them, and it's not because I don't value them. It's because I am way past the surface level stuff, and so I get bored. That's just being real. I love Praying Medic. Praying Medic, I think, did the best analysis on Q stuff of anybody, period. His books are fantastic. And I have friends that are friends of his that love him. So I think he's a great person. But he's not for everybody, and that's okay. But I personally really like Praying Medic. Susan Kokina is great. Absolutely. You got put in a timeout, Jay? I'm sorry. Well, I'll try to get the mods to be a little nicer to you next time. At least they only put you in a timeout and didn't ban you on accident, though. Do I like Benny? Benny Johnson? I'm not a fan of Benny's. I think Benny is fake. And I'll tell you this. He's, as long as he's doing good work for our side, I'm like, cool, go get him, Benny. But I also think Benny's going to go wherever the money is. I get that sense from him. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's something about somebody who's got that kind of energy and the way he presents himself. It just says poser to me. I'm sorry. That's really mean, but I just, there's something about Benny Johnson that rubs me wrong. MFN, this is the only chat you interact with. This. Oh, dude, we built a great chat. I love it. Let's see. It's, and it's not that Benny doesn't do good work. It's just that he's just got that fakeness about him. I just don't like it. Let me see here. Lots of stuff on Benny. Here we go. All right, I'll try to look up Paramount. I don't have much time right now. I'll have more time starting next week, though. Benny is pretty clickbaity. But I will say this. In defense of the whole clickbait thing, you have to be a little clickbaity just to get attention. My titles and my thumbnails are total clickbaity. I don't apologize for it, because I know if you watch the show, you'll get substance. So, but listen, I work in marketing. The whole clickbait term, it's okay. It's like, don't do clickbait, then nobody's going to watch you or buy your stuff. I'm just being honest. The only way to sell is to be clickbaity. But the question is, do you deliver on the content? So I don't like the term clickbait as a marketer, because I understand that's the only way to get clicks at all. So, well, thank you guys. You're being so nice to my channel. I appreciate it. Well, I'm not talking about Benny's actual content. I don't care for it, but I'm just talking about with titles and thumbnails, you have to get attention, Dana Loesch. Yeah, Dana's pretty good. Castleman says I'm number 1. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I do. I really do. Do I know much about the aftermarket vehicle building space? I would say I know nothing. I might know a little bit if you explained it to me, and I might be like, oh, yeah, I do know what that is. But I don't know much. Anyways, guys, listen. Okay, so Robert says clickbait to him is his title is no association material. Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's fraudulent, and I don't like that. You know what I would call that? I'd say that's false advertising. Clickbait is get a click, but I understand what you mean. I do. All right, guys, I got to go. I'm exhausted. I'm going to get 5 hours of sleep tonight, and then I'm going to do it all again tomorrow. But that's why I'm moving my show. Just so you guys know, I probably average 5 hours of sleep a night. But when I do these shows. But I love you guys. It's so worth it. You guys are the best. I so appreciate the support on the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Please like if you haven't. Let the feed know you like it. Please hit that clickbait and like just to let you know. But anyways, I really, really love this crowd. I really do. If you guys want to get to know me more and get to know the community more, please get in the Discord. I really would love to have you guys there. So check it out. It's in the description. Go to the Patreon and get a free month and try it out. So let's pray and call it a night, and then we'll do it all again tomorrow. How's that? All right, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody here, God. Just pray a blessing over them in Jesus' name. Be with them. Be with Mike and his healing and all the other people who might need healing or support right now, God, in their lives. Be with them in Jesus' name. We pray for protection over President Trump and for wisdom, discernment, and boldness, God, in everything he does, as well as his whole team. Pray for our country, that the golden age truly comes, that the golden tempo win was a sign to us that we're winning and we're going to win, and we just have a better country than ever here soon, Lord, that we can leave to our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids, but also get to enjoy it ourselves. And I thank you for saving our country. I thank you for getting us to this point at all where we can even have a chance to win. And I just believe that because you even started it, we'll finish it, because that's who you are. And we love you and thank you for that in Jesus' name. Amen. Bless you guys. Have a wonderful night. Thank you all for watching and being a part of this community. And I'll see you all soon. Good night.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks